Hey, everybody. Good morning to you all. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Um, I know I'm coming out here. Possibly, I'm give some folks here a moment to jump online with us this morning. But I want to welcome you to the Scoop this morning. Um, my name is Kofi Ford. For those who do not know me, who may not have been on any of my scopes previously, my name's Kofi Ford, again, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Talked a little bit about my background here. I was in corporate America for about 18 years or so. Spent most of that time in the consulting world, dealing with retirement plans, pension plans mostly, but also had sprinkled in there a few years here and there, 401k, health and welfare, also some executive benefit stuff. I've been talking the last few days, probably just over a week now, about retirement specifically, and giving you some tips on retirement, pension plans, knowledge of it, how to kind of navigate that world, 401k, even talking about some of the downsides of the 401k plan. Took a break yesterday from that and talked a little bit more about why we do the things we do. Just a quick story of an experiment to kind of get you thinking about the plan that we use to have success in this world. Welcome, God's Favorite Five. Good to have you join online. Just a little story to make you think yesterday about why we do what we do, and if it's not the plan that brings success, why the heck do we still do it? Hopefully that made some people think yesterday. Hopefully you found it beneficial. And I figured I kind of stay down that vein a little bit today and stick with a little story. I had written a blog one day talking about, definitely good morning to you as well. Good to see you this morning. I'm glad we overcame that victory. I'm sure you're probably still glowing a little bit from this past Monday night. Not so much on my end of the world, but congratulations again on that victory. For anybody else from who may be a Dallas fan online as well, who may be joining. But sticking with that vein a little bit and going into another story here, I written a blog about how to retire in 2 years. Yeah, I know. It's okay, God's Favorite Five. It's okay. I think you should have your moment. Won't take it from you. But a story. Just kind of one of the things I had talked about was having the primary thing where the bills are paid, the job that you have, and sticking with that and utilizing the job. Definitely take care of all the household bills. I'm not telling anybody to get rid of the job, but I did recommend having something extra on the side, whatever it may be. You start your own business, whatever you're passionate about, whatever brings you some type of satisfaction. If it's selling stuff on eBay, I don't really care. But I definitely recommend that everyone have something on the side, a plan B, if you will. Especially if something happens to plan A, what do you do? So, wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that, and kind of give you a little story about a guy named Bob who had that. He started a business very similar to mine, where he had a job. The job was paying all the bills, and he had a mortgage payment. It's an old house, let's say, and keep the numbers very simple during this example. Okay, I know mortgages are a lot more expensive. Mine is more expensive than this, but let's just say that Bob's mortgage is $500 a month. Okay, it'll make my numbers very easy, so my math doesn't start to get all crazy as we go forward in the story. Okay, but let's also say that Bob started a business very similar to my business. You can find about that on the website. But that business is generating $500 a month on the side of what he earns on his full-time job. Okay, so that's the story. That's Bob. You know, Bob, his background doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was a teacher, worked construction, or he was in corporate America. None of that stuff matters. It doesn't matter if he was making, 25,000 or 75,000 or $200,000 a year. None of that's important. Let's just say that whatever his job was, it was actually taking care of all of his expenses, and he had $500 coming in on the side. Okay, so that's Bob. You know Bob. We like Bob. He's a good guy, right? Bob says, it's not bad. The job's taking care of all my needs. Let's take this extra $500 and let's apply it to the mortgage. So he does that. And he decides that he wants to pay off his mortgage faster. And sure enough, in only 4 years, the extra $500 being applied to his mortgage every single month completely pays off his house. He's excited, absolutely excited. So now he's at a point where, he's still working the job. It's paying all of his bills. But now instead of, the $500 mortgage having to be paid, it's not there. And his business is still, let's say, generating that same $500 a month. So now he's got $1,000 every single month that he can utilize. And let's say now that Bob has taken care of his credit card debt. So that's done it over with. He's got an extra $1,000 a month. So what do you do? Bob, what do you do now? You got an extra $1,000 a month. Do you go and take vacations? Do you go buy a new car? Bob says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, I gotta retire later on in life. Let's do this. I'm going to buy the house next door. And, I'm going to use that extra $1,000 a month to apply towards that house. But I'm going to rent it out. So the renter is going to cover the mortgage. I'm going to apply the extra $1,000 to the mortgage. That's not a bad plan, Bob. That actually sounds pretty good. So what do you do now? Excuse me. What do you do now, Bob? You got this house. You're going to take care of this house. So he purchases that house and he applies. So he's going to apply the extra $1,000 towards the house, and he does that. He's got the house next door. He's got his own house. He uses the extra $1,000 towards his house, and sure enough, he pays off this second house. And now he takes, it was a extra, let's say, $500 he was paying for the house and the mortgage next door. So now he's got $1,500 extra there, and he owns 2 houses now. So what does he do? He does that all over again. Bob is industrious. He's thinking smartly. So he takes that extra $1,500 a month. He buys the house down the street. He again rents that house out. So the mortgage is being paid. It's a $500 mortgage. Again, the numbers are staying easy here. He uses the money from the renters to pay that mortgage, and he applies the extra money. Figure we're $1,000, $1,500, but you get the example. He continually applies the extra money that he has towards the next house that he's purchased. So new house after new house after new house he acquires, and he's paying them off, in a few years, every single time, applying this extra money that he has from paying off the previous houses to the new house. He just continues that process over and over and over with each successive house. And in a few years, with every single house, the time period actually shortens with every single house that he purchases, because he's got more money on the side from mortgages being paid off, and the same $500 coming in from his business being applied to each new house successively. And it's great that they're being rented out because he has no mortgage payments at all. And he's owning all these houses free and clear. Taxes being paid. Those are the only expenses he has, as well as the maintenance. And all this money is rolling forward every single time. See, Bob is thinking down the road. He had a plan for retirement. And, using this plan, maybe it's not 2 years in doing this, but if it takes you, let's say, a year, 2 years to build an extra $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month coming in on the side, would it be worth it to you? still working the job, still, having all the bills paid for by the job. Your career may progress in the job to a point that you like it, but you've got now, in a few years' time, this extra money on the side coming in. And you can use that money to apply towards your own house. You can use that money to apply towards the debt that you have. But what if that was available to you? Would it be helpful? See, that's the story of Bob. It's not a glitz and glamour story. It's not going to get Bob on the red carpet, and it's not going to get him in People magazine. But Bob now owns several homes. And what if you had children? What if you could will those homes or sign those homes over to your children? Maybe you didn't have enough to pay for college outright. But what if you started this process when they were young, and by the time they were 18, you had multiple houses on free and clear, and you just mortgaged one and you paid for your child's college room and board tuition over the 4 years? What if that's done, and at the time you're ready to retire from work, you've got multiple houses and you can sell some of them or mortgage some of them and use that money to live out your retirement the way that you wanted to? So that's the story of Bob. And that's the story that's available to every single person. Again, it's not a phenomenal or story that's going to get you on People magazine. Welcome, Michael. Good to see you, brother. It's not going to do that for you. And that's okay. But Bob has applied a plan using a little bit extra on the side to apply to every single home. As those are paid for, he applies that extra money towards the next one and the next one and the next one. And now Bob is a real estate mogul, doing it on the side while working a full-time job. But Bob is in a position now to retire the way he wants to, travel the world the way he wants to, do the things that he wants to do, or take care of his children, pay for their college, get them a nice start, maybe give them some property of their own where they can start to build their own business. But making one decision at one point in his life to just bring in a little bit extra on the side. That's what's available. That's what I'm talking to you about this morning. So hopefully you got something out of that this morning. Hopefully I did a little bit better of staying in the 10-minute goal that I set for myself. Let me see what the time is here. I did pretty good this morning. This is probably the the best that I've done. But think about it. You start with $500 a month coming in, from your part-time business on the side. But what if that comes to $3,500 a month coming in from on the side? Still $500 from this little business that you started, but now you got this real estate venture that's producing an extra $3,000. Not bad. Not bad. All from an extra $500 in business that you started, and then you use that to grow it into something even better. I'm still here. Definitely still here. It's day 23, and here we go. It's good to see you online as well. So I know you're doing something as well over there, Michael. Definitely hit me up whenever you want to. I'll be available pretty much. I think I'm available pretty much all day. But if not, I'll definitely hit you back as soon as I get you or see that you called if I miss it. But hopefully that helps somebody today. As always, you can find these online at facebook.com/Kofi Ford. I've got to upload yesterday's for anybody who missed it. I'll make sure it's out there today, and I'll get this one recorded and posted out there as well. I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody a little bit better. Always appreciate you all jumping online, loving to connect with you all, building relationships, from wherever you may be here in the United States, or even those who I'm meeting in Russia and other countries as well around this world. I think we had some people from Ghana. I think you're watching the rebroadcast, but I always appreciate you all. And again, I always wish you all the most phenomenal days. Use this day to do something that gets you closer to your dreams, closer to retiring the way that you want to, not utilizing a plan that doesn't work that we talked about yesterday. But maybe, that inspired you to look towards something that you can start on the side to build up towards a point that you can start to implement a plan that puts you in a better position to live the life that you dream now and to set you up for the retirement that you always dreamed of having. This is Kofi Ford signing off. Hope everyone has an absolutely phenomenal day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.